Hey folks, happy Thursday to you. We continue our March prayer calendar. Today is March 23rd. And all this week we're thinking about praying for our enemies. And we're thinking about this passage, Matthew 5, chapter 38 to 47, and Luke 23, verses 32 to 38. And the particular prayer prompt for today is this. Meditate on this from verse 45. So it's verse 45 from that Matthew passage. And it says this: He, talking about God causes the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. God causes the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. Which is kind of an indictment, isn't it? So this passage is talking about enemies, and Jesus is saying, you've heard it said, love your neighbors and hate your enemies. But clearly then Jesus goes on to say, God doesn't hate your enemies. God doesn't have enemies. The sun rises and falls on everyone. The rain falls down upon everyone. That somehow everyone is included in this work that God is doing. And of course, when we cast someone as our enemy, we are casting them out of our work, right? Away, apart. And it seems like what Jesus is encouraging us is to bring them in the same ways that God does. So such an indictment. You know, I was in a Bible study earlier today. And we were talking about this passage from Paul, where Paul's saying, you know, everyone has these different gifts, but all of the gifts come from the same place. All of the gifts are equal, and everyone is gifted in these different ways, and equally gifted pertaining to who you are. And all of the gifts are activated by God, which was another way of saying all of them are the same. All of you are the same in the eyes of God. The righteous and the unrighteous, the same in the eyes of God. The evil and good somehow in the same in the eyes of God, as the sun rises and the rain comes down. And so how is it that we can come to understand a life in which we include our enemies in the grace of God, rather than casting them out? Now, again, this doesn't mean bringing our enemies physically close to us so that they can hurt us again, or giving our enemies a kind of entry into our lives when they have been harmful. That's different than saying our enemies are still covered by the grace of God. And so that's the spiritual question here, right? There's some physical questions, some safety questions, some health questions, some mental health questions, but the spiritual question is, can we grow to a place in faith in which we come to understand that the grace of God falls upon those we love and those we dislike all the same? I don't know about for you. For me, that's a challenge. And I am deeply thankful for the grace of God, because it's only by God's grace that I will ever get to that kind of faithfulness. God bless you. Have a great day.